My name's John Hosegood and I'm a trustee, a member of the General Council, the group of trustees of Learning Partnerships. I've been involved in Learning Partnerships for many years, I think going back probably close to 25, 26 years. And my involvement started when I was appointed as head teacher to one of the local high schools that had links with Learning Partnerships. Although I have to say at that time it was called Education 2000 and it was focused very much upon schools. A high school, which was my school, Primrose High School, and then a number of other primary schools. We worked with Education 2000 in a number of areas. I suppose from a high school perspective, it was very much about developing young people's IT skills. And we were fortunate in having an IT suite, which was funded by IBM at that time, which was quite new in a high school in the early 90s. And then in addition to that, they did work on basic literacy, and we were involved in the forerunner of the reading scheme. The primary schools, and there were about half a dozen primary schools that were involved in Education 2000. Those primary schools, again, focus mainly on literacy. But an important thing was what happened preschool. So as well as looking at early years, Education 2000 also worked with families of some of the young people who were within the primary schools. So that's the background, and Education 2000 evolved and developed, and we got to the point where it was the year 2000, and all of a sudden the name didn't really do what we wanted it to do. And also the work of Education 2000 was changing. It was becoming more community focused. So we moved then into thinking about what would be an appropriate name for the organisation, and we came up with Learning Partnerships, and that's the name that we still hold on to today. Although we're still involved in working with schools, we have, in addition to that, a lot of community-based activities. We work locally, mainly in Hare Hills, Chapeltown, Bermontoffs, but also in South Leeds, on a number of different projects which have been designed to and devised to increase the opportunities of our local community, allowing them to access maybe routes to employment and to develop as well what I'd call their social capital, because a lot of our families are relatively new to the country, and they perhaps don't have the ways in which we just naturally have, many more local people naturally have, into our community and the ways into employment. So it's developing people's skills, but also giving them route ways into employment, but also community-based activities, as I say, developing their social interaction with our communities. One of the reasons I'm a trustee is because, you know, my view is that these things work, and it does lead to employment or whatever it might be. Yeah, so I've been a trustee of the organisation for 25, 26 years. And I've enjoyed it. It's been a really enjoyable period in my life. I've enjoyed working with the tutors and our various employees that lead these range of projects, who are absolutely committed to the work they do. In terms of what keeps me here, what keeps me involved in Learning Partnerships, I think it's because I know that what Learning Partnerships does works. It has an impact. Probably impact isn't the right word, because we're talking about people and improving people's self-esteem and people's lives, as well as giving them certain qualifications. But it really does work. And there are many, many examples of how people have become engaged with the organisation, have worked with us, and have left either on a clear route to employment or in fact getting employment, or feeling a lot more confident about how they can move on and move their lives in a new direction, a direction that they want to go in. So Learning Partnerships, we feel, is an organisation that has significant impact, that works, and has a really positive addition to our local community. I suppose Learning Partnerships has a number of key drivers, and the most important thing is our people. And the people we've got working for Learning Partnerships are the sorts of people that will engage with our projects, engage with the community, and put their absolute heart and soul into it, and gain their self-esteem from the success of others. And we have around us a really exceptional team of people. And that balance between people who have worked with us for a significant length of time and also people who come in and are relatively new to the organisation and bring with them some new ideas and new directions in which to go. It's not just people though, it's also the way we organise and the way we plan. And we do run a tight ship as far as our planning is concerned, and that's where the trustees come in, because we meet on probably a monthly, bi-monthly basis, and we're always working closely with our senior management team within the organisation in order to check out what they're doing, to have regular reports, keeping an eye in particular on the finances, which an organisation like this, as people appreciate, finance is always something that we need to keep a close eye on, especially with the ups and downs of the last 12 months. So we're a people organisation. Well, as far as the trustees are concerned, there are 8 of us, and we represent a range of different organisations, businesses. We do have a number of people who are executives in the world of business. We have people who represent different community organisations. We also have people from education and have an educational background. And each trustee brings with her or him a particular skill set. And what we try to do within the trustees is to balance those skill sets out. So we have people, for example, covering finance, people covering education, people covering various aspects of the world of business. So we've got a relatively small group of trustees on the General Council, but we cover a whole range of different interests and activities. If anybody asks me what the greatest success to date of Learning Partnerships was, I firstly find that a really difficult question to answer, because we've had a range of successes. But if I can speak in generic terms, I think our greatest successes have been the additionality we've added to our local community and communities. And that might sound very general, and you could be specific. You could talk about the number of people that have moved into employment, having worked with us, the number of people that have become active members of the community and increased their community involvement since they started working with us, and the individual families that have been able to more successfully manage their finances, more successfully manage and organise how they bring up their own children. So what have we done well? I think we've done a range of things well. Our greatest success to date, I think it's a generic success. It's the whole additionality that we've added to our local community. And we want to keep that going. So having heard everything we've said, if you'd like to get involved with us, if you'd like to find out more about us, then please do get in touch. We'd really like to hear from you.